Hi, my name is David Nitchman, and these are the 5 things you need to know about assessments. First of all, the difference between formative and summative assessments. There are 2 basic kinds of assessments, formative and summative. Formative assessments can happen continuously in the classroom, are an excellent way to measure a student's progress, inform teachers as to what is and isn't working in the classroom, and any activity will do. Just be sure to have a process for collecting data. It's important to remember that formative assessments happen during instruction. Summative assessments, on the other hand, generally occur at the end of a course of study. They capture what an individual student has learned and can be used as a comparison tool across broad groups of learners. Here's a good example of using technology to do a formative assessment. I use Padlet. It's an app that allows students to create posts and then visually connect them to show relationships between facts and concepts. This one shows different motivations for buying guitar equipment. Multiple students can be in the app at once, reacting to each other's posts, allowing for collaboration. Here's how it works. You have your post, you click down here on the right, and then you could add their own post. Say someone wanted to say guitar pedals, and they change the sound of the guitar. Then you can make sure it's all spelled correctly. Then you publish that. You can move them around, and then you can connect to an existing post. This level of collaboration gives you a really good idea of how the students are doing. Okay. We can also use technology to do summative assessments. I think we all use this, Google Forms. Google Forms is a highly useful tool for building, delivering, and grading assignments. We can click through here, and we can actually take the test. Supply line A is a surplus. Line B is the equilibrium price, so on and so forth. Number 2, assessments must have clear objectives. Effective assessments must align with learning objectives. Having a clear set of purpose for the assessment allows you to do a number of things. 1, make it clear whom is being assessed and why. 2, have the students be clear on what they are being tested on. You can make sure that assessments adhere to sound design and pedagogical principles, and you can understand with whom and how wide the results will be shared. You can use Edpuzzle or other similar apps to align learning objectives to a formative assessment. Here's how it works. You can insert questions directly into videos, reinforcing learning objectives. This is a video that I prepared for students on how to do a supply and demand curve. If you go through, we'll go forward a little bit. You can go through, and then when you get to a certain point, here comes the questions. An inverse relationship on a graph means that when one variable changes, the other moves in the opposite direction. You can rewatch that parts of the video if you don't understand it, or you can skip the question. Next question. As the price of a good or services increases, demand for that product will decrease. You submit, and it will tell you that you got the question correct. Number 3, feedback. Feedback is hard, but it's worth doing right. Teachers often feel they're providing feedback, but they're more often providing data and advice in the form of grades and corrections and generalized ideas on how to improve your work. It's important to remember that feedback is specific, it's actionable, it helps a student achieve a specific desired result. Feedback is, when possible, as much in the moment as you can have it, and it's aligned to learning objectives. Here's a quick screen capture of some feedback that I gave a student on a writing assignment. How I do this is the students spend time writing, and as they finish, I do corrections, and then we discuss it during that class period, and then they rewrite their paragraphs. You'll see I gave specific feedback, capital on capitalization. Here in this part, be sure to describe who these students are. They're writing about the Little Rock Nine, and they didn't give any context, so I want them to explain exactly who it is. Again, capitalize, specific suggestions for different words, and that way they can make corrections and improve their writing. Number 4, almost anything can be an assessment. Any classroom activity can be an assessment, but you need to have a way to capture and share data. Participation in class discussion is one of my favorite and most effective ways to conduct formative assessments. And finally, assessments are only getting more important. Whether it's standardized testing aligned to Common Core standards or administrators asking for ever increasing amounts of data, teachers are going to be asked to assess more and do it better.